Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Reader's Workshop. Before we get started, make sure you're ready to learn. Eyes watching, ears listening, quiet as a mouse, still like a pretzel. Okay, so the last time we met, we talked about the 5 important parts that you need to include when you retell a story. So you always want to remember to include the setting, the characters, the problem in the story, the actions in the story, which include the beginning, middle, and end, and then the solution to the problem. Today, we are going to talk about another really important part of stories, and that is the author's central message. So when authors write fiction stories, oftentimes they want us to learn something really important. And we call this the central message. I think you remember when we read the family book, we talked about the central message, like what was the big idea the author wanted us to remember? And we talked about the fact that all families were different. There was a million different ways to make up a family, but that the one big idea is that all families love and care about each other. And that was the central message of the story. So as I just mentioned, it's kind of like the big idea. It's that big light bulb moment, like, yeah, that's what this story is all about. So if you can kind of keep that image of the light bulb in your head, that's the central message. So when we talk about the central message of a book, it's not specific to just that book. It's an idea that we can carry into the rest of our lives. So earlier in the year when we read Chrysanthemum, we learned that Chrysanthemum had a hard time at school because people were teasing her about the length of her name. However, the fact that kids were teasing about her name wasn't the big idea of the story. It wasn't just that, wow, it really hurts your feelings when people make fun of your name. The bigger idea that Kevin Hinckus wanted us to learn was that teasing of any kind can be really hurtful. So whether it's about your name or about how you look or what you eat, whatever it is, teasing is hurtful. Here was another great example of a book that had a great central message that we read together. Waiting is not easy. So in this book, Elephant had to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait for that beautiful starry night at the end of the day. However, Mo Willems didn't just want us to remember that, oh, it's a really good idea to wait for that beautiful starry sky. He was trying to teach us a bigger message, that it's important to be patient, okay? And that sometimes when we're patient, it's worth the wait, okay? So that's the bigger idea. The sneaky thing about authors is they don't just come right out and tell us their central message. We have to figure it out on our own. So if you remember when we read When Mom Turned Into a Monster, they didn't just say, it's not okay to misbehave. And if you misbehave, you can cause some stress to your mom. Instead, what the author and illustrator did was every time the kids misbehaved, mom grew another monster part. So we have to use the clues in the story to figure out the big idea or the central message. Do you remember the clues from Spookly the Square Pumpkin? So the big idea, I think, from this story was that not only is it okay to be different, but that sometimes being different helps us do something that other people can't do. So it wasn't just about it's okay to be a square pumpkin. It was about that big message that being different is okay, and even good. Some of the most common central message ideas in stories that we read together are about friendship. We learn a lot about friendship. We learn about kindness. We learn about courage. Can't see. Determination, family, and being yourself. To figure out the author's central message, we can ask ourselves this question. Let me move my face again. What is the most important thing the author wants me to remember? Or what is the big life lesson the author wants me to learn? Okay, these are really important questions we can ask ourselves while we're listening to a story. So again, when we read Strictly No Elephants, it wasn't just about we need to include elephants. The bigger central message was about, hey, it feels bad to be left out. We need to include. Okay? Or in the sandwich shop, it wasn't just about a pita and hummus sandwich and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was about accepting the differences in others. Okay? There's always a bigger idea.
Good morning.
Oh,
Just a reminder.
had a little interruption there. So the last thing I want to just leave you with is that, again, it's that light bulb moment when the light bulb goes off in your brain and you get what the author was trying to teach you, then you know you've discovered the central message or lesson. Okay, so it's that kind of like light bulb moment. Now it's time for you to practice your own independent reading. When you read, see if you can figure out the author's central message. Today you're going to read for about 15 minutes. Remember to show reader respect, not just to others, but to yourself. And you can identify the central message just like we do. And remember, the author's central message is the big idea of the story. It's the most important thing the author wants you to remember. Okay, guys, happy reading. See you next time.